I think you are getting ripped off there a bit, mate, because I have a Celerio as well. It's a manual. It's less than 1,000 cc, and I don't pay any road tax at all. But my insurance is nowhere near what you're paying. In fact, it's about a third of what you're paying. I can't believe that I heard that. I am not doubting your words, don't get me wrong, but somebody's playing games there.
G4 Papa Echo Fox, I'd be interested to know, if you can tell me that is, where you live, just the area, and how old you are. I went on the internet, on the Meerkat and all the other, stuff that you go on, and, they wanted, because I live in northwest London, they wanted like 1,500 quid and all this kind of thing, I was lucky to get it for £700. I'm with a company called Privilege. I've been with them for 3 years. They haven't put the premium up at all. It's been the same for 3 years. But every other company I had before that, because I had a different car then, because I only had this car for just over 3 years, every other company, was either the same or dearer. And also, when you got to year 2, they started putting the price up. Year 1, they gave you what they call a reasonable price. I wouldn't call it that. And then year 2, they started whacking another couple hundred quid on it. But as I say, I've been to know how old you are and where you live. Because I know it's all to do with age and where you live, and the fact that I park on the road because I haven't got a garage or drive-in. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
Good evening. The time is 7 o'clock.
Golf 4, Papa Echo Fox. Golf 0, Alpha Echo Delta. Yes, okay. I live in Norfolk. I live near the Wash, near King's Lynn. And I'm 76. I do not travel that many miles a year. That isn't the problem, but I can't understand how they can justify £700. I know insurance companies rip you off. I used to work in the North Sea, and I went to get life insurance, and they said because I was in a high-risk job, they put the premium right up. And that is insurance companies. They're really gangsters without guns, over.
I just have to pause in case anybody else wants to join us. G4 Papa Echo Fox. I don't think we were before, and we may have done, but I'm on QRZ if you want to look me up, and it's a pleasure to hear you. Well, you see, you said it. Okay, your age is not that far off mine, but you don't live in London. The minute you live in London, you'll be clobbered. You wouldn't believe it. And I'll talk about something else to do with motoring in a minute. But a friend of mine who lives basically a mile and a half from me, still in the same Northwest 2 postcode. My friend is 82 years old, has the Suzuki Alto. I had an Alto before this, by the way. The previous car was an Alto, the one before that was a Micra. And on the Alto, which is the same engine, the 99 whatever it is, but a smaller car, insurance premium, and they've got a garage and a drive-in, insurance premium is £1,200 a year, almost double what I pay. And it's all to do with A, your postcode, and B, your age. And when I get over 80 next year, it will swack up. It'll probably be £1,000 minimum. And what my friend always says is we always hope to have enough money to keep a car under our thumb. Hi, hi. The other thing is, living in London, if I didn't drive and I didn't own a car and I didn't have a driving licence, every time you visit me in your car, unless you've got a blue badge, I would have to pay £4.50 for you to come and park outside. I've had to cut down the number of visitors to a bare minimum. If I had 10 visitors a week, that would be 45 quid a week out of my pension, although luckily I'm still working, but that's not the point. If I didn't have a disabled bay and a blue badge, although they are thinking about charging us, if I was an ordinary resident for the car outside, it would cost me £90 a year to have a car outside for the pleasure of keeping it, well, within the area outside my house, not necessarily bang outside. How would you like that? G4 Papa Echo Fox.
Golf 4 Papa Echo Fox. Golf 0 Alpha Echo Delta returning. All I can say is that is a load of nonsense. A load of nonsense. I've never heard that before. I'm not saying you're telling me nonsense. I believe what you're telling me, but I can't believe that that is capitalizing on people having a car, and that is totally stupid. I don't know. I mean, the thing of it is, I have a puzzle jumper, which I call it, below 1,000 cc, and I don't have any problem at all. I park in my front garden, which is on the main road where I live, but I'm off the road. But there is no restriction about parking on the road. It is a public highway, and I can park on the road. But I can't understand how they justify the charges and the insurance that they do. I think it's a complete and total ripoff. I can't believe it. But there you go. I just can't believe it. Over.
Well, how would you like this? They don't have any traffic wardens walking about. That's all gone. They don't have any visitors permits made of paper. That's all gone. You have to open an account with the council. Your password is your mobile phone number. You pay money in advance at £4.50 a pop. I usually buy 10 and hope they'll last the whole year. So that's 45 quid. But if it runs down, I've only got 3 left for this year now, because we had builders in and we had the boiler serviced and a few visitors that I had to ring up the council. And what you do is you ring them up, you give them the car number, and they issue a permit which is valid for all day. But if the person comes to service the boiler and he's there for 10 minutes, it's cost me £4.50 on top of the insurance I pay to get that boiler serviced. And if I say I don't want to pay it, I don't want to give him an electronic permit, he'll drive away. And in fact, people ring me up, and the first thing they say when you want a tradesman, plumber, or anything done, the first thing they say is, "Can I park?" And if you say no, or you won't give them a permit, well, not a paper permit, if you won't get them a permission, they will not come. You forget it. And I've had to cut down on my family coming. And the council are earning millions and millions and millions. We've got hardly any police. That's where the money's supposed to be going. 3 out of the 4 police stations have been closed. There's no PCSOs. There's rarely a copper on the street. Might see one once every year or something. They've got the traffic wardens are now drive a smart car with a bloody great camera on top, and they're called traffic enforcement officers, and they'll fine you for anything. Yellow lines all over the place. Parking permits required to park in the main roads. You only get 2 hours. I got a blue badge, so I'm covered. At least that's something. And there you go. And where all these millions are going, because they're not spending it on the roads, or the police, or the schools, or the libraries, or anything else. Where it all goes, I've got no idea. We're being ripped off. And why the hell people won't get together in their hundreds of thousands and refuse to pay, including the non-drivers who have to pay the visitors' permits, I've got no idea. If we all refuse to pay, like we did with the poll tax, and I was one who didn't pay, they can't put you all in prison and they'd have to stop it. G4 Papa Echo Fox, and that's me on a soapbox.
Zero Alpha Echo Delta returning. Well, I sympathize, and believe me, this is the first time I've heard this. I can't believe it, but I don't doubt it. That's the thing. I think councils everywhere are pressed, but I live in a different part of the country, but I can't believe, all this. I'm not saying you're telling me a falsehood. I believe what you're saying, but I can't believe they had the neck to go that far. It really isn't a dumb thing. I've lived in this country over 50-some years, and I can't believe they go to those lengths to hassle everybody. I don't know where the money goes. All the councils are putting poor mouth on, and including ours, they're cutting back services, this and that. We have no PCOs on the street. If you see a policeman, he's got the blue lights on going through the village. We don't have much problem here, but you don't see police all that often. And I just wonder what the hell is going on. Over.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, another thing is that if you say you're in hospital and you want a visitor to come, there's nowhere for them to park. If they don't come by public transport, they can forget it. And this has been, by the way, this isn't new. It's been going on for years. I think the residence parking thing probably been going on for about 15 years. Now, when it first started, it was 50 pence, and it was a paper ticket, and you went to an office, which was in the high road, and you bought a book of tickets. Then they went up to £1, then £1.50, and then all of a sudden they whacked it up from £1.50 this year to £4.50. They charge 90 quid if you want to keep a car outside your house, unless you're disabled. But I have been told by a friend who works in the council offices that they are thinking of charging disabled drivers keeping their cars outside. It wouldn't be the whole 90 quid. I don't know what it would be, but that is on the cards. Probably either this year or early next year. So, they're going to rip us off even further. There's a £60 fine if you're caught on parking where you shouldn't, like in a residence parking bay and you're not a resident, for example. In other words, in the white boxes in the roads. If you don't pay, they double it, and if you don't pay again, you get taken to court. It's tripled and you pay court costs, or they'll come and send the bailiffs in. All very, very nasty. And on the next over, I'll tell you a little story of something somebody happened to a friend of mine, and also something that happened to me. Not to me personally, but to one of my visitors. G4PF. G4PF, you still copying?
GTA, still K6 for a quickie.
Very good evening, G4 Papa Echo Fox, stroke A Post Office Research Station, London, name of Winston. Don't know what happened to the other gentleman, but please go ahead.
Winston, it's Paul. 3SC stroke H6. And I charged it wasn't too good, so
very good evening, Paul. G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, I do hope you're well. Sorry, I didn't recognise your voice. You're rather broken. Copied a bit, but not 100%. after this evening, normally I'm not here on a Wednesday evening. I'm only here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, but they're shutting down for a week. I may have told you this last time we worked. They'll be shut down from a week after this tonight. So I'm on holiday for a week, although I will be working from home, but I won't be working here on the 5 nights. But anyway, I hope you're well. Hope the family's well. And if you heard any of the last conversation, I've been moaning about the parking and the way the motorist is ripped off. I don't suppose you get that in Hawaii, or maybe you do, I don't know. G4 Papa Echo Fox, over.
Yeah, okay, Winston. I won't keep it. Yeah, I was saying we had a hurricane out east of us, about 1,500 miles east. It was a Category 5. Finally got anywhere in our vicinity. It fizzled out to some heavy rain on the Big Island, so not a big deal. We are a small target, so that's okay. But people are prepared here anyway, as are the hams and whatever. But there is one in the Gulf of Mexico. There's going to be one, so that's not too good. But the ocean temperature in the Gulf of Mexico gets very warm. I think the ocean temperature gets to 90 degrees in the Gulf. That's like a warm bath. Ours doesn't get up to around here above 80. In El Nino season, it gets up to 85, which is kind of warm for here in the ocean. Anyway, I'll say 73 aloha, and I'll catch you another time. G4PEF, G3SEA, stroke KH6.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, I copied 100% of that, Paul, and it's always wonderful to hear you on. Been a real pleasure, and thank you so much for coming up. But I got 100% of that. There was no dropout at all. But sorry to hear about the hurricanes, and as long as you, the family, and the others are well there, that's the main thing, isn't it? So I guess, you live somewhere like that, which sounds, like a paradise, but there are problems everywhere. Same as London, we got all the facilities, but then you got the problems as well. But anyway, thanks for your continued emails. I did reply to one, I'm sure I did. What I'm going to do, I just had my new book go to the publishers and printers. It will be out Monday. I've got a PDF of it. I'll send you a copy of it. I'll email you a copy of it, Paul, next time I email you, which will be within the next day or so. I think you might find it interesting and enjoyable. So I wish you 7-3. H8 the family. God bless you and yours. Thank you very much for coming up. And I'll be transmitting from home for a week, and hopefully be back here after that. G4 Papa Echo Fox OK at the Post Office Research Station in London.
Cheers, Winston.
I wonder if my other G0 friend is back, or has your battery run out, or have you fainted from what I said about motoring, or anybody else on UK Hub. This is G4 Papa Echo Fox in London, listening.
Echo Fox, Golf Zero, Alpha Echo Delta. I'm back. I changed my battery. I'm back on the air. Yes, I've been listening in. That gentleman that just signed, what call sign was he and where was he at? Over.
Well, hello, nice to welcome you back. Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. That's Paul in Hawaii. I think it's G3SEA stroke KH6. He's ex-British expat, now lives in Hawaii. Very, very good friend of mine, known him for years, and we're in touch on the radio whenever we can, of course, and also by email. Very, very good friend of mine. And it's nice he can come on here because, everything is normally, of course, end stop. And by the way, I don't know if I told you, but I'm running a little Anytone 868, but I'm transmitting on All-Star to a hotspot, which is a micro hub about 50 foot away in this quite large building. And I use one of these at home as well, of course. There's so few repeaters in London that have got any either digital or analog modes on that I find hotspots are the best thing since sliced bread. But I'm sure you've got all my moans and groans about the driving and one thing and another. But there's a couple of little stories I'll tell you on the next over about the way we get treated, and you'll be horrified. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
Golf 4, Papa Echo Fox, Golf 0, Alpha Echo Delta. Okay. I'm working on a micronote here. The micronote is made by Golf 7, PRG, Peter Kendall, and no, it's RPG, sorry, RPG. And I purchased it a couple months ago, and it seems to work okay. I can work all over the world on it, and everybody I talk to, I have good audio, so I'm quite happy to do that. I think you're doing something quite the same. I'm not sure, but what micronote are you working through, over?
For Papa Echo Fox. Yeah, this is one of Peter's, and he's a very good friend of mine. Rocket propelled grenade, I call him, hi, and I've had it for 3 years. I've got a couple of them actually, and I've also got, he used to build, nobody does it now, a thing called a Spot working on Pi Star, which I use for Brandmeister and DMR Plus. And I use my micro hub will also work on Echolink, so because I've got Fusion, you know, DMR and all sorts of stuff, D-Star and goodness knows what, as well as HF, VHF and UHF. I'm a real radio nut, but yeah, I love his stuff, it's wonderful, and he's a really nice guy, and I count him as a friend, so there you go. Right, story number 1. I had a visitor some years ago. It was in the days when we gave them a actual paper permit, and he came along with a brand new car that he just got. I can't remember what the car was now. It was some years ago. I think it was a Renault, something like a brand new Renault Megane. Parked it outside, came in, was going to spend 3 or 4 hours with me, so he had this. Unfortunately, where he put the ticket, it fell off his dashboard. The traffic wardens came along, we didn't know about this, of course, clocked that they couldn't see a ticket, got the van, or the lorry, to tow his car, took it miles away to some blasted, you know, where they tow vehicles, supposed to be illegally parked. When he came out, he thought it had been nicked. It was only a couple of days old, this brand new car, 30 grand car. I'll just take a pause. On a time out, you see. Came out, thought it had been stolen, rang the police. The police checked on their computer and said, no, it's not been stolen, it's in a pound, and it was miles away. So he said, hang on a minute, I had a parking permit. Oh, no, you didn't. Anyway, he went to the pound to get his car. When he got there, they said, oh, your parking permit fell on the floor, we couldn't see it. Hard luck, mate, that's going to cost you £100 plus a £60 fine, 160 quid. But I got a permit. Well, you can't have your car. All right, well, okay, I'll pay you. Right, have you got proof of ownership? Well, he didn't have his driving licence on him. He didn't have any papers saying the car was his. They wouldn't give him the car. He had to go home to Norfolk, get the papers by train, come back the next day, and pay another 100 quid, 260 quid for two days in the pound, plus a £60 fine. How about that? I'll tell you story number 2 on the next over. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
Golf 0 Alpha Echo Delta. I think that's totally excessive. It's hard to believe we don't suffer those problems up here, and thank God. I think it's a case of everybody's getting a bit wound up over nothing. I'll pass it back to you. Tell me story number 2. I'm going to have to leave you shortly. I have to go someplace, but you can tell me the next story, and we'll call it the final, and I'll say 73s.
Fine on that. Do look me up on QRZ, G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, I'll tell you what, the second story, a friend of mine lives in a road that's quite narrow, and there's no parking restrictions. You can park. It's one of the few roads I know in Brent, which is the area I live in London. It's one of the few roads I know where there is actually no restrictions, no yellow lines, no parking bays. You're allowed to park. But because the road is so narrow, everybody in the street puts 2 wheels on the pavement, so that if an ambulance, fire engine, big lorry wants to get by, it can. Because if they all parked in the normal manner, you know, with wheels against the curb, both sides, you wouldn't get a fire engine through, etc. When I went there for the first time, I said, this years and years ago, I said, I'm not putting my wheels on the pavement, it's illegal. Oh, no, you can do it in this street, you'll be all right. No, I'm not doing it. I'm parking where I'm parking. And if a fire engine can't get by, hard luck. I'm allowed to park there. That's my prerogative. Okay, right. A couple of weeks later, they decided, after quite a number of years of this, that the parking wardens would go down that street, the traffic wardens rather, would go down that street. They ticketed every single car in the road. Right. My friend and a lot of other people put in a complaint. We're not paying it. We're putting a complaint. If we park in the normal way, a fire engine, etc. can't get by. What happens in an emergency? The council said, hard luck. You've gone more than 7 days. You're supposed to pay it in 7 days. It's now £120 each. And if you don't pay it, we'll take you to court. You'll have to pay 3 times and the court costs as well. So basically, get stuffed and pay it. And they must have got thousands and thousands of pounds from that one traffic warden sweep alone. Well, with that, I wish you the very best, 73, H8 the family. Don't bother to drive to London. G4 Papa Echo Fox in London.
Go for Papa Echo Fox. Thanks for the warning. I think next time I'll come on the train. if anything happens, they'll find the train driver, and I'll be scot-free. Sounds like a different thing down there. I thought I lived in England, but I wonder if London's in England. Over.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, I'll tell you this for a final with you, so I know you want to go. If you dropped somebody from Mars in London, they wouldn't know which country they were in. That's number one. Oh, boy. And what was the other thing I was going to comment on? I can't remember. But, you know, they just ripping the motorist off for everything they can, and they just brought a new law out. I'm not joking, by the way. It was on TV. Like I saw it a couple of days ago. If you rev your engine, like say in the winter when you're revving your engine to warm it up a bit, and you get caught, you'll get done for that. That's a 60 quid fine, just revving your engine. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
Go for Papa Echo Fox. It's been enjoyable. Not totally in the fact that I learned something that I really don't. Can't believe these people. I really can't. It seems they're employing people to go out and catch you at on the small things which they invent. But there you go. I'll say 73s now. Take care. I'll talk to you a little bit further down the line. Golf 0 Alpha Echo Delta is clear of this frequency. 73s.
Quickly, just before you go, have a look out for programs on the television called Parking Wars. You'll find it very, very enlightening. All the best. Been a pleasure. Look me up on QRZ. G4 Papa Echo Fox in London, Post Office Research Station.
I will look you up on QRZ. 73, thank you for the QSO, and we'll talk further down the line. Golf 0 Alpha Go Delta is clear the frequency.
This is M0 MUU Mobile.
Very good evening. Hello there. I know that call. We've worked loads of times. G4 Papa Echo Fox. And disgracefully, I've forgotten the name, although I think we actually worked, may have been yesterday. I'm not normally here on a Wednesday, but as they're shutting down for a week for inspection, I came in for the 5th day of the week, but I normally work the 5-day week, and then I'm off for a week, but I'll be working from home. Well, it's either going to be a bit less or a bit more than a week. I'm not sure. We haven't found out yet. Anyway, I hope you're well. Hope things are going all right with you, and lovely to hear you on. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
G4 Papa Echo Fox and Mike 0, Mike Uniform Mobile. Yeah, I can't remember names at the best of times. Name here is Stephen with a PH, and yes, we have worked many times before. I've just been listening for the last half hour to your talk about London parking and everything else. I used to live London way, towards Tooting, and had all sorts of those sorts of issues. And I have large vehicles. I used to have a minibus. I'm actually in a motorhome now, which are all sorts of fun and games around London. And all this parking charge and things you're talking about at my mother-in-law's, we've got all those problems, except on a Sunday. Sunday, you're okay. But what was behind it all was people just dumping cars in the streets, going to work all day and coming back. And cars littering everywhere, so residents couldn't park, nobody could do anything. And with the engine revving business, all sorts of trouble with posh young people with loads and loads of money, getting these here sports car or things with exhaust cut off and whatever, sat there 11 o'clock at night, revving their engines and causing a nuisance, and then it comes down with laws that upsets everybody else. Anyway, M0, MUU Mobile, standing by.
Yeah, G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, apart from the revving of engines, which we don't get where I am, but obviously you got it where you are, they never originally imagined, the government, years ago, that there would be so many people that would own a motor car. And also, London, as you probably know, and other big cities are now horrendously overcrowded, and that's put the prices of houses through the roof. There's no places in good schools. The hospitals and doctors' surgeries are crammed to capacity, and there aren't all that many jobs either, that you can get. So that, we've got so many people in the country that we can't really support them. That's really what this is all about. And they're going to rev us up for more money on motoring, because I'm not in a congestion charge area, but there is talk about extending the congestion charge out to the M1. If they do that, that will cover where I live. And of course, if you're in a congestion charge area, you've got to pay to have a car in that area, as well as all the other parking and charges. So, they're making it harder and harder and harder. And I was thinking of changing my car, so I don't pay any road tax on mine, and getting one of these hybrids, better for the environment. I would have an all-electric car, but unfortunately I've got nowhere to charge it, because I don't have a drive-in or a garage, and obviously it would be illegal and dangerous to put a mains cable across a pavement to charge an electric car, because I only do a small mileage. Electric car would suit me fine. But now, even with a hybrid, any car registered from 2017 is an all-electric. You've got to pay 140 quid tax minimum, depending on the size of the car, and only buy a small car. Whereas my car was 2016, it's tax-free. So I'm, not inclined to go and change it. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
G4 Papa Echo Fox from M0 MUU Mobile. Yeah, I'd hold on because who knows exactly which way some things are going. It's highly debatable. I mean, it is over-congestion, overpopulation, lack of work, everything else all happening at once. I must admit, we left London, my wife and I left London, we came back out to the country area. We're in, Herefordshire is QTHR at the moment, although I'm moving down towards Portsmouth, but I intend to live out and away from work. And travel in. It is quite a problem. And the lack of decent work near where you live is one of the fundamental problems. The only thing is London does have a transport infrastructure. When they bring these rules and regulations into some of the rural cities, there's no buses. There's no, someplace I used to work, the only way to work was to drive. There was no way in, no way out with the buses or anything else like that. There was no way it was possible. And it is bizarre sometimes the way they can think they can apply these things to other areas of the country where the infrastructure isn't there to support it. And unless you could walk to work, you are stuffed. I'm going to keep the QSO going, but I am going to be driving, so if you hear weird noises, it'll be me moving. M0 MUU Mobile, standing by.
Yeah, G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, one of the things I do not understand is the council is raking in millions, and I mean millions, but they don't seem to be doing anything with the money. For example, the roads are in a lousy state. That is the actual road you drive on. And then the pavements and the roads are full of rubbish. There's hardly ever see a street sweeper. You do occasionally. Out of the 4 police stations we have, to quite a big borough that I'm in, they've shut 3 of them. So obviously, crime has gone up. And they don't seem to be spending the money on anything. There's no police in the street anymore, or PCSOs, that's it. There's none of them anymore. I think in the last 18 months, I've seen police on foot patrol in the street twice, in my area. So, you see the odd police car with the blues and twos going by now and again, and that's about it. So I just wonder, what are they doing with the money? They're closing social centres, they're closing libraries, all different types of amenities. So where's the money going? Who's got all these millions? G4 Papa Echo Fox.
G4 Papa Echo Fox from M0 MU Mobile, now physically moving through the streets of Weston-super-Mare. They are actually supposed to be public with their accounts, so you can actually track it, what's going on. But from my experience at councils, and I worked for a council for a while, they're just cash strapped left, right and centre. And one of the big things that's sucking every penny the council got is social care, because council have been landed with a duty of care with people who are sick, housebound and everything else. And if there's no other facilities, the council ends up picking up the tab. Same with children in care, and the costs are running radically out of control, and they've tried outsourcing things, and a lot of things are outsourced, and the council ends up paying twice as much for the same service as they outsource. And councils really need to look at their overall budget and cut back on a lot of unnecessary things and focus on the basic stuff. I can't help thinking that instead of paying out tons of benefits and things, just put people on minimum wage and guarantee everybody working for the council, cleaning things up and doing a lot of these maintenance jobs. Anyway, that's politics for the moment. Oh dear, M0 MUU Mobile, standing by.
Yeah, G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, my view, with a lot of the central government and the local government, in other words the councils, is the trouble is a lot of people that are voted in do not understand how the system in the UK works. And I think you get my drift. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
G4 Papa Echo Fox from M0MUU. I know what you mean. It's very, very overcomplicated system these days. It's all right, I'm just pulling up. I am collecting the XYL from work. I have parked up. I'm just waiting for her to wave at me, shout at me, run to me, whatever it is to jump in the vehicle. Yeah, it is very difficult and very complicated. But the problem is with a lot of these public organisations, somebody can be very clever, intelligent and rational, but once you get into collective meetings and whatever, all sorts of bizarre things happen for all sorts of bizarre reasons and political reasons and things like that. And the next thing you know, all the budget's gone. And they're clambering around, moving money from here to there to thither to just try and make something stick together. Now, I've been there, and it's like hospitals and things like that, chronically underfunded, but it's got to operate, otherwise people die. I think life and death has to take priority over other things, but there you go. Doesn't life get interesting? But yes, London's losing its way a little bit at the moment, I think, and quite a few of the other laws is taking away a lot of freedoms that we need. I hear they want to introduce identity cards again and all this sort of stuff, but there you go. We need to be able to live happily, freely, and have fun, and keep our 2-meter radio band. M0MUU mobile, standing by.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, I don't know what will happen with the 2-meter band. I suppose in a way some of it is our fault, in the sense that I remember years ago, because I've been licensed for 45 years, I'm not sure how long you've been licensed, but particularly in the 80s I remember 2 meters was 25 kc steps, and when you went on there was probably a dozen people or so on every single channel. You join a group, to get a 1-to-1, you probably have to go FM side, on sideband, or right down the bottom of the FM band or something, because everything from the normal S, 20, etc., calling channel above and below frequencies, they were all totally occupied. Nowadays, you can shout your head off on 2 meters, and you'll be very lucky if you get anybody. I haven't heard anybody on a 2-meter repeater, admittedly in my area. I'm sure there's some other areas where they're very, very well used, but I haven't heard anybody, for example, on a 2-meter repeater for a couple of years now. Put a call out, nobody comes back. And I know where there's some nets on 2 meters in the evenings on Simplex I can go on if I want to, which I do occasionally. But during the day, it's hardly anybody. Now, 77s, I haven't had a Simplex contact on 70 for donkey's years, but there are quite a few people, fortunately, still on repeaters. So I don't know what to make of it all. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
G4 Papa Echo Fox from M0MUU mobile. Just pausing for a moment to see if anybody else is lurking in the background. Well, my take on it, several things. One, I don't think it's to do with amateurs' usage, although amateurs using it needs to be what's used as defence, is that somebody spotted that it was harmonised frequencies across the whole world, that they could snaffle for remote control aircrafts and things like this, because it's world harmonised. It's the harmonisation that I think was the key attraction to the frequencies. But the other thing is the use of 2 meters varies dramatically across the country. Here I'm going into a 2-meter repeater, Western repeater, and it's an extremely busy repeater. It's connected to the hub net, and it's going most of the day, one way or another. I've listened to it a lot of the time, and I put other people onto it, and it's a very, very busy repeater. We've got, we're in Herefordshire where I live, the ZA repeater, got the nickname Zero Activity, partly because it's difficult to get into from all areas, and I can't access it when I'm at home QTHR. But there's other repeaters, like the Gloucester CG1 and other repeaters, that are busy, because people can get to them. And certainly this repeater I'm on now is extraordinarily busy. There's the WR repeater on the Mendes, which is an extremely busy repeater. The other thing is I originate from Nottinghamshire area, and my mother's died now. I mean, she got to 98. But when I was up there, all of a sudden, all the bands in 2 meters, absolutely, like you were saying, every 25 kilohertz, chock-a-block full of people. I had never had so many simplex QSOs in my life. Culturally, completely different in the amateur world up there. So, the moment I get north of Birmingham, 2 meters suddenly comes alive. It's quite strange. M0 MUU standing by.
I left a pause just in case. G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, I'd be delighted if I could get contacts on 2 meters during the day, but I can't. There's nobody there. And you think living in London there'd be dozens and dozens of amateurs, but I haven't even got any amateurs that near me, in a distance. Most of the people I work, when I'm talking to people locally, normally on 70 SEMs or even on 2 meter repeaters, are either based in Surrey or Berkshire or Bedfordshire or Hertfordshire, which are the areas that I can get into. So I haven't got a very big 2 meter coverage anymore. It's all the tall buildings they built. When I first started radio, I had a massive 2 meter horizon. I could get to Wales in the west. I could get to County Durham in the north. I never made Scotland. I could get to Devon in the south. I never made Cornwall, I'm afraid. The east was always bad, but I could get as far as Southend on Sea and Essex. Nowadays, I'm lucky if I can get up the M1 a bit. It really is diabolical. I used to be able to work about 20, 25 repeaters on UHF, VHF combined. Now, I can only work about half a dozen. So, there we go. But that's me. But it's nice to hear that in other parts of the country is busy. But, what with the bad conditions on HF, where I used to be quite an addict, I went to the digital and analog modes like this one through the internet using hotspots. Fortunately, that is plenty of places to go to find somebody to talk to. And All-Star, I must admit, has been excellent and is excellent. A lot of traffic on it. So there we go. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
Papa Echo Fox from M0 MUU Mobile. I was just leaving a pause for if anybody was there. It is very different. I mean, I spend most of my time on radio mobile, including HF actually. HF is still my first love, and one of the things I've noticed, the bad conditions are pushing people back towards CW, but also has actually encouraged the FT8 mode to get going, which works in bad conditions like CW. But I must admit, sideband on HF is still my thing, and I'm still building and fiddling with antennas for portable use and goodness knows what. But 2 meters, I think, is the key band. If you're mobile traveling or anything else like that, 2 meters FM, I think, is the key. And, I do think it needs protecting. I will be going QRT very shortly. I can see my XYL walking towards me in the distance. So I will make this my final. M0 MUU portable standing by.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope we work again very, very soon. 7388 is a good X-Rail, and, well, you know, I think radio is going more and more towards the digital, but I loved HF when it was bands were open. I still run HF. I even bought a new HF radio about 6 weeks ago. It's an Alinco DXSR9, and it's the best HF radio I've ever had. And one of the cheapest as well. Fantastic receive on it, and I get very good audio reports out. But my standing total of DXCC prefixes, I'm not trying to make you jealous, is 411. There's only 4 countries in the world I haven't worked, and obviously quite a few islands I haven't worked. I haven't worked Burma, Somalia, Tibet or Cambodia, but I've worked every other country in the world. But of course, there's still quite a lot of islands I haven't worked, like Vanuatu and Minori Torishima, for example. The first is off Australia, the second is off Japan. Anyway, we might get there one day if I can survive long enough. We'll be 80 turns on the coil next year, but when conditions hopefully will improve. All the best. It's been a pleasure. 7388 the family. G4 Papa Echo Fox stroke A at the Post Office Research Station, North West London.
Yeah, 73, and take care, and I'll work you another night. The XYL is with me now, so we're going to set off driving. Have fun, TTFN.
W0WGK.
Very good evening, G4 Papa Echo Fox stroke A at the Post Office Research Station, North West London, when I can get my teeth in. Hi, and the name is Winston. I'm not sure if we worked before or not, because the call was a bit quick for my ears, but not to worry. Using a little Anytone 868, and that's going to a Zum spot. No, it isn't. It's going to a micro hub about 50 foot away in this big building. I've got a Zum spot here as well. I use that for Brandmeister. Right, back to you. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
0WGK, the name of this fellow we have spoken in the past, but I haven't spoken to you for quite a while. But I don't know whether we spoke to Chris lately. Back to you.
Just have to pause. G4 Papa Echo Fox. Well, yeah, I missed Chris. What he told me, he visited me about, it's got to be about 6 weeks ago now, because I met him a couple of times, and he brought his good lady with him. He told me that I think he's got rid of the 991, or is it 911? No, it's 991, isn't it? And he's getting, or supposed to be getting, 2 dual band VHF UHF mobile radios, one to work from home and the other one to put in the car, and that's why he's been QRT. But I'm hoping he'll get back on the air very soon. But last time I spoke to him and his wife were both well, and we spent 3 or 4 hours together, which was extremely pleasant at my home in London. G4 Papa Echo Fox, over.
MW0WGK, yeah, no, I only asked because he had some blocks that he had for you, one thing or another, that you machined them down for him. Back to you.
Okay, I'm wondering what's happened with those, because he was going to post them to me, but I never received them. I don't know if you're the gentleman that had all the gear to cut them up, but perhaps you can give me an update on that. I'd appreciate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I machined them and I put a bit of a swarf in there, one thing and another when he had it, but last I know he said he was going to send them to you one thing and another. So I didn't know whether he had him, but I haven't seen him for a while. But I know his father's not too well or one thing and another, so I know he's back and forth there as well. Back to you.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. So first of all, thank you very much for doing that. Well, I've got his phone number. I did give him a ring, but he wasn't there, or it wasn't answered. So that was a couple of weeks ago. But I'll give him another ring. There's no urgency, and I don't want to put him to any extra effort or trouble. But I would like them, and I'm going to use them on another project of mine. If you look me up on QRZ, my email is good on QRZ. And if you drop me an email, I can't do anything from here because I'm not at home. But if you drop me an email, I'll send you one of my books, and you might enjoy that, just to show you the sort of thing I produce. G4 Papa Echo Fox.
W0WGK, yeah, I can have a look at that, but I'm not on QRZ. I've got to sort it out. It's something I've been meaning to do since I started in the radio, but since I've got full license now, I definitely got to sort it out. Because last time I spoke to you, I was 2W0PCE there. Back to you.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. And first of all, congratulations on the new upgrade. That's a fine business. And just give me a break. Have you got a pen handy? And I will give you my email. I don't mind giving it over the air. Have you got a pen? Break.
I think there's a break station there.
Hey, here we go. I'll say it twice. And if you don't get it, you can tell me and I'll do it again. My call sign, G4PEF at NTL, that's November Tango Lima, NTL World, as in the whole world, .com. Once more, G4PEF at NTLworld.com. QSL?
QSL on that, I think there's somebody on the side there if you want to fetch him in there.
Go ahead, anybody there, please join. Nothing heard at my end. As a matter of fact, I was told a long, long time ago, because I've been on D-Star for about 3 years, but of course I've been licensed for 45 years, but I was told there's somebody comes on via Echolink into the UK hub from Tibet, and I've never worked Tibet. It's one of the 4 countries I've never worked. I would love to work Tibet, and it doesn't matter what mode it is. So if it's a gentleman from Tibet, I think it's a gentleman, please come in right away. G4 Papa Echo Fox in London. Well, it's the middle of the night in Tibet. Anyway, I'll pop it back to you. G4 Papa Echo Fox. Drop me an email, and I'll certainly send you that, but I won't be here for about a week, although I will operate from home occasionally, but not as regularly on here as I do from here. Over.
MW0WGK. Oh, not a worry about it. Thank you very much for that anyhow, but no, he asked me about that. There was no problem with doing it and one thing or another. Like I said, once you get them in, you should be able to sort them out, and it should be alright. You shouldn't have no problem with it at all. And if there's anything else I can do for you, just let him know, and I can sort it out for you anyhow. And anyway, it's nice to catch up with you again now, but the wife's got a little job that she wants me to do now, so I have to go 73s now and do that for her. And I wish you 73s now, and I hope you have a nice evening, and perhaps you get a few more contacts. And I look forward to catching up with you again. So, 73 from South Wales, City.
G4 Papa Echo Fox. So final with you. Well, thanks for that. And I really do appreciate what you've done. And I'll have to get in touch with Chris and try and find out what's going on. But I hope his father will get well. I don't know how old the gentleman is, but these things are, of course, always a worry, I know. So 7388, your family, thank you very much for the QSO, and I really do appreciate that. And once I get your email, I'll be able to keep in touch more often. So all the very best to you, and thanks again. Q4 Papa Echo Fox, okay, at the Post Office Research Station, Northwest London.
Good evening. The time is 8:00 p.m.
M0MUU and 0MUU G4OGW.
M0WTX. This is 2 Echo 0 Foxtrot Mike Hotel. Are you monitoring, Stuart? It's, well, I used to be M6OBQ. Just give me 1 second, I can't quite hear you, you sound a little bit like a Dalek. It could be right on the back. No, it's not clear at all. It's very difficult to try and understand what you're saying there. Oh, you're on your phone. Okay. I maybe catch you later on 7SJ if you're on then. Over.
M0WTX, now on the phone portal. Just wondering whether the issue has gone now. Can you hear me now okay?
Yes, you're loud and clear there, nice Stuart, from 2E0 FMH. The problem I'm having, I was trying to reset it again, my 901A. To get my call sign to show up on, C4FM, and then I know how to do the factory reset, but I've just forgot how to get it so I can re-enter my call sign. It just totally went out the window.
Yeah, well, don't worry about it. It's not a biggie. We know who you are. This business of call signs popping at the other end is a nice to have. It's not a requirement. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yeah, I wonder what's gone wrong with that other node. I'm just going to try transmitting on and now monitor myself. 1 second.
M0WTX test.
Feeding back. It sounds okay. Yeah, don't know what's going wrong with that, or why you were struggling at your end. But yeah, I'm not intending to be on GB7SJ tonight. I'm in Leicester. I have got my Fusion node with me, and I could do. What sort of time are you thinking of being on there? Back to you.
About 9:30ish, just for half an hour or so. See if we can raise anything there.
Yeah, okay. Well, because I've only got one connection here in the camper. Normally bring a hub with me, but I haven't. I'll unplug one and plug the other in at 9:30. So I'll give you a call 9:30ish, or you give me one. I'll monitor from then on. I normally chat on there about sort of 10 onwards anyway. Keith 20ISK. I'll probably be on at sort of 10 regardlessly, but I'll make sure I'll put it on a bit earlier tonight. Right, 7-3. Catch you on later. M0WTX.
Yeah, M0WTX is 2E0 FMH. Yeah, I'll catch you later then, Stuart. No problems there. I'll not start asking you about Leicester or anything. Save it for this evening. 73, catch you later.
Yeah, no worries. Just watching TV at the moment. Have the radio on monitoring there. We'll be monitoring a bit later. 7-3 M0WTX.
M0WTX G7NA.
Yeah, good evening, Robin. M0WTX.
Yeah, I wonder what you're up to. Heard you earlier. Give you a brief call back, but you were either busy or I think you might have been calling someone else. I'm just playing around with an old enclosure. It's an old external hard drive enclosure actually, and I'm going to put it to use for putting my Raspberry Pi in with me interface in. Hopefully, kill some of the EMF that is kicking out. Make the spectrum a little bit quieter, should I say? Because quite a bit of noise on HF that I get with all the computer equipment nearby. So that's what my plans are. I've cut it in half and got a template so I can drill the mounting holes for the Raspberry Pi back to.
Very good. Well, I must admit I have done exactly the same with an external hard drive enclosure I've got. It's all aluminium construction with a massive heatsink on one side. It's been for a SCSI spindle speed, 10,000 RPM spindle speed drive. When they used to run really hot, so the fins on it are massive, which will really run cool. And I thought of exactly the same thing. It looks like a sort of Apple Mac designed, brushed or sort of matte finished aluminium design, really quite nicely made. And I thought exactly the same thing. I thought that'd make a perfect all-star node. And it's got like a grill on the front where you can put a speaker. So funny you should say that. I was thinking the same thing. Exactly to do. And it's got firewire connectors on, which are the same size as a network connection hole. The old square, I think, 800 speed firewire connectors. So I could certainly get an Ethernet at the back of it. But yeah, very good. Well, I've been in Leicester half the day. Got here roughly just before lunch. Supposed to have been doing decorating, but the place wasn't ready for me at all. But I've got all the jobs done instead. Got a car to get MOT tomorrow. And good news from the wife in hospital. She's had I got a few tests and everything's okay so far. The angiogram she's having tomorrow. Don't know whether you'd heard, but she thought she had a heart attack, but I think it was just some sort of panic attack. Hopefully the angiogram looks clear tomorrow, then she's free to fly on Sunday to Spain with me. Well, we're both not going to go, of course, if she can't go, but might have to go on my own, I don't know, because we've got installers fitting some aircon over there early next week. Back to you, Robin, M0WTX.
Oh, I hope she's okay then. No, I wasn't aware. I did hear, I think it was one of the days last week where I think it was a false alarm or something, but I didn't realise she'd been hospitalised the second time round, so that's news to me. Yeah, I'm sure they'll find out if there's anything unusual, or should I say shouldn't be there, but it's funny, but I had symptoms for years, and the GP were basically treating me for a panic attack, and I thought it were unusual because I've been a weightlifter virtually all my life. I only packed it in about 5 years ago. Never serious like I used to be, but sort of like once I got to 50, then not as serious. But used to get these symptoms of, shortness of breath, etc. Thinking that was it. My days had come, but I'd had stress tests and all sorts of things, and always came back clear. And it was not until October of last year. Woke up early hours, about I think it was 4:45 in the morning with a rapid, irregular heartbeat, and wife rushed me to A&E, and got all probes on me and that, and that's when they diagnosed that I got atrial AF, arterial fibrillation. But take treatment for that, beta blockers now, but hopefully now they've got it under control. But yeah, she'll be a good answer there, Stuart. Over.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever happens, I think the next step is for artery problems. So if there is one, they'll put a stent in, and hopefully she'll be good to go soon. But fingers crossed it doesn't happen. That's what I'm hoping anyway. That she gets an all clear on everything, and it was just a bit of a panic attack. Anyway, I'll sign with you if you don't mind. I'm just watching TV, but I was monitoring just to see what was going on. Listening to Winston there for an hour or so. But I thought I'd put something on TV and chill out for the evening. Probably get back on the air maybe in about an hour or so. Back to you.
Okay there, Stuart. Well, I'm going to vanish into the garage and go drill a few holes in this enclosure and start knocking it about. Peter gave me an idea actually with the LED bar graph, the VU meter, so I want one. So yeah, I'm going to make it look a bit more professional, because it's still bare bones. It's still wires hanging out the back of the bare board, and it just don't look very good, and it's prone to getting damaged. So put it in a proper enclosure, maybe with its own power supply. I don't know, but it's got space for that if I need it. And my U-Bix, that's come through post. That came via DHL this morning. Of course, stung me with charges though, import duty, 29 blooming quid. Apparently, if it had come by India mail, I wouldn't have got charged. But I didn't want to wait between 3 weeks and 3 and 4 weeks. So I paid for a week delivery, which was via DHL. Of course, like I said, I got sting with import duty on it, but there we go. So, yeah, I've got plenty to be going at, Stuart. Okay, I'll let you get off, my friend, and I'll be monitoring anyway while I'm in garage. Catch you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Yeah, 7-3, Robin. I know what you mean about the All-Star node there. That one he's done with the VU meter looks really nice. It looks like a real radio, doesn't it? I wonder, well, a few people have done. They've adopted a case that's actually an old radio case and made some of the old knobs do whatever. You could, like a Pi radio, I think Steve's got. Pi base station, Peter's got. There's quite a few different ideas out there. Somebody's even made a Roberts Rambler radio. All the buttons work as connect to different things, and the volume knob is the volume knob, and I think they put an earphone piece on the top that you can plug a mic into, and it's a radioless node as well. Quite cool. Alright, 7-3, catch you later. Enjoy. And 0 WTX.
Okay, Stuart. Yeah, just a little bit of hum, so you're moving near a fluorescent tube or something. But other than that, your normal self here. But I just wondered what it was. I thought it was me. I've just moved away from the dishwasher that switched on, thinking it might have been that was coming over. But it's definitely yours, Stuart. Okay, catch you later. G7ANA clear.
Yeah, this is an experimental node of one of Peter's one-offs. So it's got a DMR MMDVM hat on the Pi as well as All-Star. It's DMR as well, so there's a lot of RF going on in there. And it's completely packed, and it does get nulls. I mean, I use it at the boot of my car and it's fine because I don't move around. Of course, the car radio doesn't move around, but it's better at distance. It's one of them that I think he figured out how to improve it, but this might have been before those days. But at some point it might get an upgrade. It'll be a couple of years away. But it would just work. So it's got two antennas on it, one stuck out the front for the All-Star, one stuck out on the back for DMR. Very handy for travelling. 7-3, catch you later. M0 WTX, hopefully not as buzzy.
Oh, not as buzzy, Stuart. Okay. Anyway, can't wait to get my VU meter all sorted out and all that. I'll be addicted then, telling people that they're in red. 7-3, catch you later. G7NA clear.
Absolutely. Well, you can come on and tell everybody they're too loud or too quiet. Nobody likes telling anybody, but certainly if they ask a radio check, yep, you're too loud or you're too quiet. 7-3, catch you later.
CQ England, this is Delta Kilo 1 Fox Yankee calling CQ and standing by, over. Calling CQ, hello CQ from Delta Kilo 1 Foxtrot Yankee, DK1FY, CQ and listening, over.